You know what? We are live. I think this is working now, and we apologize. We a couple minutes late because for some reason our stream was not working today. We had some glitches in the matrix. Guys, welcome. We are in another episode of Business and Coffee. We have the renowned self multi-billionaire millionaire
Oh, well, we got
millionaire, Omar Periu.
multi-billionaire.
Omar Periu International, man. You know, he's one of the leading wealth training trainers in the world. We have today also Mr. Brock Bertolo. He's a credit expert and credit engineer with our company, Estrada Vega Capital. And myself, guys, my name is Carlos Estrada Vega. We are the founders of the 360 Business Vantage, and we want to bring to you another episode of Business and Coffee. Salud to you guys. How we doing, guys?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Yeah, that's my saying right now.
Hey, it's a beautiful day. Got some hot coffee, ready to rock and roll. So, yeah, I mean, let's get right into it, guys, because I know we have a lot of questions to ask here. And if this is your first time joining us, you know what we're going to do today is we're going to drink a little bit of coffee, and we're going to talk about business, how to increase, everything related to your business, how to increase your cash flow, your wealth, and do it relatively quickly as well. So, Omar, man, as always, we're super happy to have you here on board with us today. Really excited to go over some of these questions and really dig deep and get into it here. So,
Thank you, Brock. Thank you, Brock.
absolutely. So, Omar, we want to start off with your book, From Zero to Wealth, right?
Yes.
Now, and your book really goes over how to create massive wealth. And so that's going to be my first question for you today, Omar, is how would someone create massive wealth in today's economy? What's some advice you can give?
Well, you gotta get ready for this new shift that they're talking about, right? So it's important you realize that things are changing, and it's going to be. I think I'm not. I mean, I just have a gut about things. I think it's going to be a couple of years, 23, 24. There's going to be some adjustments. I think everybody should really streamline everything they're doing, meaning cut out any excess expenses and put together as much cash as possible. I feel there's going to be a lot of opportunities in real estate, a lot of opportunities in buying businesses. I think people are, real estate's going to, there's going to be a lot of challenges. So we're going to be able to help people save their credit or, get out of their home or whatever. Get your cash together so you can have more of that to buy real estate. Also, buying businesses. I think there's a lot of men and women that are looking to get out. They want to work at the business, but they don't want to own the business anymore. So I picked up a few of those myself in the last couple of years, and it's people that are professionals that don't want to, be there all day and run the business. Like a lot of doctors right now, we picked up some medical centers, a lot of different businesses that are cash flowing, but they want to work there or practice there, but they don't want to run the operation every day. They want to get some cash flow out of it, take some money out, keep making money, but not be responsible. That's another way. I think people that are in real estate and mortgages, lenders, any of those, they really need to think about a side hustle, right? So they can make that extra cash you're going to need, keep things going, right? So that's just some of the ways to create wealth right now. But the main thing is streamline everything, clean up everything so you have no excess. It could be as simple as taking a look at all your credit card bills, and maybe there's things that you used to buy before that you're not even using, but they're still whacking you every month for it, right? So stuff like that, and look at the things that you spend money on that you don't need to. Everything's going up, we know. Gas, food, rent if you're renting, any of those things, insurances, everything. So just get ready for it.
Right, absolutely.
All right.
And Omar, I mean, one big thing that I always tell people is to have conversations with your household about your financial plans for the future, right? Because if you don't have that plan set forth, and laid out very clearly, you can find yourself, just spending a whole lot of money. I actually read yesterday that in order for you to just blow $10,000 in a year, that's only $27 a day, right? So those are your
Right.
your Uber Eats, your Ubers, your expensive coffee. Now, I'm not saying, hey, don't get coffee. I do that every single day, right? But
Right.
there's ways that you can kind of alter that so you're not spending as much on a daily basis. And you said a really good thing. Hey, check your credit card statements.
Yeah.
Most households have
You guys hear music? I hear music.
that they don't even know about, right?
I think that's the background.
Oh,
You like the music? You
no,
like
I
it?
was hearing stuff. I'm like, I hear music. It sounds good. I like.
No,
Um,
we're not going crazy.
No, I was like, what? So no, you're right, Brock. I mean, look, the bottom line is Benjamin Franklin was a genius, and he said a leaky faucet will take your wealth, right?
Wow.
And so he, if you've got that drip, 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 that's how you end up going broke. Most people don't realize that drip, drip, drip could be put into things that can work for you while you sleep, and that's how you become wealthy.
Absolutely, passive.
Let me ask you something. So, a lot of people talk about budgeting. Some say don't budget, make sure that you're spending the right things. What is your advice on that? Like, would you tell someone, especially in what's going on right now, that we are heading into a recession? We're gonna be there no matter what. That's the way that the economy works. Will you tell someone to budget themselves, or will you tell someone to learn how to spend their money wisely?
I would do both.
Okay.
Budget is basically looking at what your expenditures are, and then spending money is just do the necessities. So you need cash to be successful. Whether you're doing hard money lending or you're borrowing hard money lending or loans or any of that, you need cash, and that's why a lot of people are pulling their money out of the market right now, because they're noticing that it's easier to pull their money out than to lose the money that they're losing in the market. So the market the last few months has been kind of a turmoil. So
to say the least.
Yes, and I know you're right. You're right. So, and now in your book, Zero to Wealth, you also talk about a lot of people, and what you said today was a lot of baby boomers are really gonna start selling their business, and some of them are
right,
gonna be for very low to no money. Even some of them will be even seller financing. And you always talk about in your book, and especially in that in Zero to Wealth, how to fund your business deals. What would you advise someone that's starting in business today? Because, and again, and that would be one of my advice to everybody: go buy a business instead of creating a business from the ground up. You don't know how much you have to put together in order to build a business than if you have to go out and buy something. I think it's even cheaper to get money in order to buy a business, right? Am I
right.
correct on that one? So, and so what would you advise someone that's really trying to go into business today? And again, that would be the best option. How can they raise the funds in order to accomplish this?
Well, great question, Carlos. The first thing I would ask is, do you know the business? Because if you don't know the business, I would ask you to be an intern in the business for a year, even if it's part time. So I always recommend that because as you know, I have a lot of mentees that own businesses. So I work with them on building or upskilling their business or buying a business or exiting a business. So first thing I would say is, if you don't know that business, like your business, if you guys didn't know your business, you would ask someone to come in and intern with you if they want to be a partner or work with you, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So
Yeah. That makes
learn
sense.
the business so you don't go into a business that you don't know. My mentor used to say to me, Mr. Murphy, he said, stay in your own backyard, which means know what the heck you're doing, right? The next thing is you got to do some calculated risk, which is the other thing my mentor said. He said, if you can't piss with the big dogs, stay on the porch. So
That's funny.
you have to do some calculated risk, but you do have to take risks. So you have to go out there and find businesses. I prefer, and I do this like 1 to 3 every year. I find businesses that are profitable, cash flowing. I look at something's wrong. Something's wrong. The branding, the sales, the management, the product that needs to be tweaked, all the above, the distribution. Maybe they're not purchasing properly. So
Yeah.
you look at those things. I also recommend that you buy a business with the real estate, because then you've
Mm,
got something else. So a lot of
right.
folks don't realize that you can buy businesses with the real estate. I just did it for a student of mine. He's a dentist out in California, and we bought a practice with the building.
Wow.
And I'm doing that for a lot of doctors now. I've got a group of uh, students that are buying medical practices. And that's a hot item right now. And they're a lot. If they can, they'll buy it with the building.
You know what? And you said something there that remind me a lot. So I read this book a little while ago on the Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker,
Yeah, I
in
know.
which he and you know him, yeah, you guys are friends. In which he has a story in the what he used to love pie so much that he wanted to open a pie shop. So that's what he did. He said, "Let me go work for a pie shop." One thing that he learned is that he hated pie. At the end of, he was eating so much pie that he gained some weight and he didn't want to know nothing about pie. But he found out by actually being in the business and not having to do all of the research. I mean, that was his research to figure out if really there was some love for the business. Like you said, go work with someone and find out that's what you really want to do. And
Yeah,
and he found out that, hey, that's not my business, and he decided to go into the fitness business, into the fitness shops. So
yeah,
that was a great story right there, because it shows you that, you know what, go put some sweat, some sweat first. You need to put some elbow grease and figure out, see really if that's what you want to do, because you may find out that that's not the field that you really want to, or what your love is. So
exactly.
great point in there. Go ahead, Rock.
Yeah. So, what would you say, Omar, if somebody says, "Listen, I have very limited time, right? They don't have a surplus of time to go do X, Y, and Z." How would you capitalize the small amount of time, or advise them on how to capitalize that small amount of time so that they can increase their wealth? What are some things that you would advise somebody to do?
So the first thing I tell people is any entrepreneur that wakes up without a plan is unemployed. So, what I recommend that everybody plans their week. And then every night before you end your day, like some of you have kids, whatever, grandkids, I would end my day in my car, like sit in the driveway or in my office for the last 5 minutes. So if I'm coming from a meeting, I sit in the car or a truck and I write down the 10 most important things I must do the next day. I block the time, I block the activities, I prioritize. When I wake up, I'm ready to go. The other thing I recommend is leave pads and pens. I leave a pad and pen and paper in certain areas, like by a
Nice.
coffee table, by the dinner table, by the TV. Uh, some people by the toilet, right? But whatever it is, right? Whatever it is, have that there and write down things that thoughts that are coming to you or things that you need to do, and then
Yeah.
you move them to either your pad or your. I use just a notepad, and then I have assistants, of course. So my
Mhm.
assistant will then put it on my calendars and all this stuff and all that. So I have the calendar that they take care of. Number two, I've got my own pad. But I think it's really important that you wake up with a plan, you take action. Let's say you don't have a, first of all, you're going to save time doing that, right? So the next thing I would recommend is you eliminate unnecessary activities,
Yeah.
anything that you don't need to do. So what I recommend every month, and I do it myself, and I've even spoken, I think, to Carlos about this. You take a week, track a week of your life, and
Mhm.
see what you're doing that you shouldn't be doing,
Mm,
right? Because a lot of us do things that we don't need to do. The other thing you could do is combine activities. So what I do is when I work out, I'll look at my mail. Like my mail will be open. My team knows to open my mail, and when I go and I work out and I'll ride the bike, or I don't do it on the treadmill, right? But when I ride, I have a stationary bike, and I'll
Yeah.
go through the mail. The other thing I do is I'll put on a motivational speaker on
Yeah.
videos,
That's
audios,
right.
right? So I'll put something on. I like listening to the old timers like Earl Nightingale, Stranger Secret, Bob Proctor, Jim
Nice.
Rohn, Brian Tracy, Tom Hopkins, uh, you know, just to name a few. But and then the other thing I like to do is watch different categories. Like one day I'll watch, marketing. One day I'll watch sales. Next day I'll watch leadership. Next day I'll watch goal setting, that kind of stuff. But if you're talking, Brock, about someone looking to make more money because they have limited time, then you need to look for something that doesn't take a lot of time. Like you could begin part-time in a direct sales company, right? And do that on the side. You could also do little real estate. Like wholesaling doesn't take a lot of time, just takes
Yeah.
knowledge, right?
Mhm.
Airbnb, right? That kind of stuff. So there's ways to make money uh, without having another. We're not looking for another job, right? Because
Right.
multiple streams of income. This is what people don't get.
Yeah.
Multiple streams of income is not a job. It's not another job.
True.
Multiple streams of income is making money while you sleep.
Mhm.
That's how people become rich, right? And that's what you teach people how to do.
That's the only way to get rich.
Yeah.
The
So
only way to get rich is to make money while you sleep. Because
That
if
is-
you're trading time for money, you're just paying your bills.
Right. It's not scalable. You can't.
right.
You can't.
Scalable, you're right.
You only have so much time in the day. Omar, you said something that I loved, right? It said, like, you said basically audit your week, right? Take 1 week out of your life, audit it, and find out the activities that you shouldn't be doing, right? So, for a lot of people nowadays, there's so many distractions. There's so many little things like this guy right here, your phone, and a lot of people find time for the things that don't matter. Like, one big thing that I can say that I'm guilty of is TikTok, right? Or watching videos on YouTube that aren't educational to me. It's just,
Yeah.
it's like, just turns my brain into mush.
Much.
So, you've got to think about it. What are you training on a daily basis? And Omar, I know you said, hey, listen, I combine activities. I'll put on a motivational speaker while I'm brushing my teeth or
Right.
whatever the case may be. And
Yeah,
for a
get
lot of
ready.
people watching, you really have to think, like, what am I training on a daily basis? Am I training on watching something on TikTok that doesn't matter? Or am I going through and I'm learning to be better at my trade, right? There's a lot
Yeah.
of different things that you can do that's actually going to increase your wealth in the time that you're already spending on things that aren't going to be increasing your wealth. So that is
Absolutely.
just one little bit that I wanted to share there.
No, that's great. I mean, I
That's
recommend that you listen to an audio or watch a film, a video of someone that's inspiring every day. For some people, it's reading scriptures. For some people, it's music. So music, the Bible, things, whatever you do, whatever you read spiritually, that's your choice. But
Yeah.
anything that you do that uplifts you every day, working out, eating right,
Yeah.
spiritual, health, and then be happy most of the time. Try to be happy because, life is tough. Life is tough. And, my mentors say when you get lemons, it's time to turn them into lemonade, right?
Yes, here we go.
But, if you don't think, above the line, right? They say only people use like 10% of their mind, right? You have to
Yeah.
think above the line because people don't think above the line. So your job every day is, Brian Tracy used to say to me, your job is to become better every day. He said, better every day. You always do this. Become better every day, every day, every
Yeah.
day. So every day I became better at every day, whatever I did. He said, whatever you do, become better every day. Because he'd say, become an expert at dropping off your laundry, your dry cleaning. He says,
Yeah.
one discipline leads to another, right? So the key is to understand that if you do just keep tweaking everything every day, you have to be successful.
Of course. Now, Omar, so this is great. And for us that do it every day, it becomes a second nature. It's a discipline that we start doing every single day. And it becomes, once you do something over and over, sometimes you even go on autopilot, but you still get the things that you need to be
Right.
that need to be done in order to be successful. But a lot of people still need to get motivated. So I know that you have written a couple of the books, which is The Power of Motivation and 101 Ways on How to Get Motivated.
Right.
Now, for someone that is looking and yearning to become someone or become that hero that they want to, and usually people look a hero, and again, if I talk for me, my hero is me a year from now. That is my hero. So if someone is looking to become that today, how do you tell them to get out of their way today, to get out of their own way to get motivated and start doing just the little things, because sometimes it's just crazy the way we see it. Like we think there's so many things we got to do, but it's just the little things that you could do every single day that
Yeah.
compound, become all this amazing success for you in your life and the people around you. So for example, for me, like one of my motivations, my wife, my kids, they are in everything that I do. And if there's something that I'm doing that is going to affect their life, I don't do it, either
Right.
personal or business. So that is one of my main motivations right there. And I was able to define it and figure out that, hey, this is the main thing, the most important thing that I have in my life in order to get there. And that's one of the things, like every day when I feel down, sometimes and you got to talk to Brock, and every time we go back and forth, and there's days that being in business is tough. It is rewarding. You learn so much, but there's days that you get taken to the ropes and get beaten. So
Right. I
I gotta
agree.
remind myself. I gotta remind pretty much others too on what is our mission and vision. But how do you get motivated? How do you tell someone to get motivated to get to where they want to go?
Well, the first thing, the best way to get motivated is to find something that motivates you. Like you said, your children. Like for me, it's
Yeah,
my kids, right?
yeah,
Whatever motivates you. Some people, they don't have kids, so it's their community, right? Their
mhm,
church, temple, mosque, whatever, right? So what motivates you? What can you do that will motivate you to get out of bed, basically to start with, right?
yeah.
So you have to find that purpose in life. That purpose in life is your why. That's why you get up in the morning. Um,
True.
I think that a lot of people don't realize that it it's a real driver, because whenever you're failing or eating rejection or failure, say you're in sales or in business, well, that why will keep you going, because you
Hmm.
know why. I'll never forget when I was starting out in sales. I hated prospecting. I hated it. I hated it. I hated cold calling.
Yeah.
And my mentor sat me down. He says, I said, I really don't like prospecting. I said, when they come in, I got them. I love presenting. Most people love to present, right? They love to present. That's the fun part, right? You don't
Yeah.
like prospecting. So he said to me, because I ran track, he says, well, if you consider uh, you ran the hurdles when you were younger. I said, yeah, I did the 120-yard hurdles, 100-meter hurdle. And he said, yeah, well, if you consider that every time you prospect, that hurdle is something you have to go over to get to the end goal to win the race.
Yeah.
So if you don't prospect, you're not going to make sales. So he said to me, you got to go over the hurdles. You got to find out anything you fear. I've done like 10 events for Tony Robbins. He
Yeah.
says, if you can't, you must, right? If you whatever you fear, you got to go after the fear that you fear. And that's,
Wow.
I think people don't do things because of fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of self-esteem, self-image, that kind of stuff. Complaining, right? That kind of stuff.
No, you're right. You're right. And you know what? And if you think you're gonna fail, you're right. But if you
Right,
also think you're gonna win and you're gonna succeed, you also right.
right.
So it's either way you see it, it's gonna happen for you. So I mean, we are or we attract who we are, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's one thing. Did we lose Omar?
Yeah, I'm gonna turn that light off.
No, no, that's fine. That's fine. Hey, no, but you know what? You said something good over there too. Also, that how you started in business and how health is essential to create wealth.
Right.
I know that you actually we had some conversations in the past in which you say, I have friends that they are billionaires, but the guys can't even get up to enjoy their own wealth.
Right.
I mean, how essential is for somebody? I mean, I understand somebody that is there that even though that they should, I mean, they have no excuses then because they have the money to even get the right people, the right trainers, the right dietitians, and so on. But someone that's starting today that they wanted to be in an optimum set of mind to create wealth and create freedom financially, and in their life, how is health so important to do this?
Oh, it's amazing. Think about it. It all begins with the mindset, right? So the mind has got to be healthy too, right?
Yeah.
So you have to think. The mind is the steering wheel of the body.
Yeah.
So if the mind's the steering wheel of the body, it all begins right here with the 6 inches between your ears. So you
Gotcha.
have to feed your mind positive things, right? They've done research. We get hit with 1,500 negative influences a day minimum.
Wow.
1,500. Think about it. You turn on the TV, negative. You get in the car, somebody cuts you off, negative. You go to the office or go to a meeting, there's negative people. Yeah, you're coming home on, whatever it is, somebody like you're just coming out of a parking lot. Like today, I was coming out of a meeting, and the guy just ran the red light, almost killed all of us walking. And then there was a
Wow.
little white thing to walk across. But the whole thing is you just got to like practice, perfect practice of motivation. Like listen to people that motivate you.
Mhm.
I have great audios on online, Audible, all that stuff for motivation, inspiration. There's a lot of great people out there: Earl Nightingale, Zig Ziglar, Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
Just a lot of positive people out there that can make an impact on your life and change your mindset. So the
Yeah.
mindset first, then the body. Like I told you, I know a lot of billionaires that they can't even. I was on this guy's boat. I won't mention his name because a friend of mine. His boat is 225 feet yacht in Miami,
Wow.
and the guy sits in the back and he can't move. Has to be
Wow.
wheelchaired all over the place, and that's because he didn't take care of himself.
Yeah.
You got to treat your body like Jim Rohn said. Treat your body like a temple, not a woodshed.
Wow. So,
Yeah.
we're talking about a lot of your books. Where can people find your books, by the way? Where
They
can
can go to my site. They can go on Amazon. They want audios. They can go to my site or videos. They can go to Audible,
Yeah.
all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but let's go more in depth. You can go to Omar Periu International, right? .com.
Yeah, you can go on. You can email my staff info@omarperiu.com or omarperiu@gmail.com,
Yeah.
or you can just go on my website omarperiu.com, and there's all kinds of links there. You could even get to me to talk to me about mentoring, which I do love mentoring men and women that are either starting or in the middle of their business, trying to upskill it or trying to exit, all that stuff.
That's
I do
awesome.
from beginners to billionaire companies, billion-dollar
Awesome.
companies.
That's great, Omar. So, Omar, my next question is going back to your book, From Zero to Wealth. You talk about your modern method and
Right.
how you can create or become rich in half the time. Can you elaborate on that? So, what exactly is your modern method and how's it work?
So what I did is I came up with a formula that worked for me, and then I started teaching others how to do it, and it worked for them. So what I did is it's called the modern method. Let's say the word real, right? So you take the acronym REAL, REAL, and the R is recurring income. So the key to becoming wealthy is to do the work once, get paid again and again and again, right? That's the R. The E is to create equity, buying businesses like Carlos was talking about. You should buy businesses that are existing, that are profiting, that need some tweaking. So you can either buy it and do an exit strategy or buy and keep it for cash flow, right? So equity on businesses, things like that. Homes, like real estate, whether it's single family or multi-unit. The A is appreciation. Once you get going, I didn't do this at first. You let it grow. Let yourself so you have some money to work with, right? And then the L is the best one. The L is leverage. And you need to learn to leverage, number one, other people's time. Number two, other people's contacts. Number three, other people's money.
Awesome.
Because there's people that have money, that their money's sitting there and it's making 2-3%. And now it's making like 2%. And they need to put their money to make more of a return, like 9-10%. So you could take that money, buy businesses, buy real estate, buy other things, or enhance your business, and then pay them that percentage. So that's Get Real, Get Rich. And then
You say get real, get rich?
Get Real, Get Rich. It's one of my books, but the Get Real, Get Rich. But the acronym REAL is how to become wealthy in 3 to 5 years.
That's awesome. Now, let me ask you something. So in business today, there's a lot of competition. I mean, you hear it everywhere. People are on social media today. They're doing marketing. A lot of people decide to do it the old way, actually talk in front of people, present. How can a business owner today that's trying to create wealth, they're trying to go from zero to wealth, create that competitive edge that a business needs? What do you think that's something that they can, or there is something that they can do?
Well, the first thing you need to do is you need to look at your business. And every time I work with clients, mentoring them, or having a piece of their company or whatever, the first thing I ask them is, what is your unique selling proposition? What is your unique selling proposition? What makes you so special? So, Carlos, Brock, why would I come to you for your business? Well,
Because we could get you lending in less than 90 days guarantee. Go ahead. Back to you.
there you go. But what I'm saying is that's your unique selling proposition.
Yes.
But then after that, you've got to then talk and point out the features of what you're going to do differently than other products or services. Once you do that and point that out, you have to then take it to the benefits and give them tons of reasons of why they should work with you. And then at the end of the day, it's all about results. So at the end of the day, you have to paint pictures of success with you, right? Well, if you paint pictures of success, everybody wants to be with someone that's going to give them the results they want. And that's that picture of success.
Great point. Great point. Great point.
Yeah.
So, Omar, my next question for you is, in your Zero to Wealth, you talk about creating a clear path
Right.
to becoming wealthy. And we've talked about some of the attributes so far inside of this conversation. But if you could tell somebody, hey, this is the clear path from going to where you are now to creating massive wealth, what would the outlines be?
Well, the first thing I would say is find your why,
Okay.
right? Which we talked about. Number two, set some strong goals. If your goals don't scare you and excite you, they're not big enough, right? And, people don't understand what a goal is. A goal is a want with structure. So a goal is a want with structure. So once you find that want with structure, the next thing you need is desire. Got to have desire. Got to have the desire to want that goal. Like we're going through a process right now. This is what I teach people. Once you find that desire, you've got to have a willingness to act. I hear people say, oh, I want to be a multimillionaire like you. And, I don't believe them unless they really take action. I don't know if you heard the story. Don't quote me. There was a famous pianist, and somebody went up to him after his concert, and he said, "I want to be a pianist just like you. I want to be a international renowned pianist just like you." He says, "No, you don't." He says, "What do you mean?" He says, "Yeah, you don't. You don't want to put in 7 days a week, 10 hours a week of, learning all this stuff." And see, people want the results without
The
paying
work.
Zig Ziglar used to tell me all the time. He said, you have to be, do to have. You can't have to have, right? Right? In the Bible, it says you don't reap, you sow what you reap.
We
Right?
sold to reap.
So you got to come, do it over and over again to have it. So the challenge of most people is a lot of entrepreneurs have developed this disease. It's called ascites. They've been sitting on those things so long,
That's
they don't move. So they got to get off the rusty dusty and Goya. Get off your anatomy.
Get over here.
That Tom Hopkins taught me that.
Go, yeah.
Tom taught me that. Tom Hopkins. He was amazing.
Oh,
Yeah. But yeah, you got to do all those things. It's very important. I don't think people do that. And when they do, it's really fundamental. Okay, so we're talking about the steps, right? So the last one we said was to get off your rusty dusty. Next, get ready and be focused because shit's going to happen.
Yeah.
And shit's going to happen. It's not going to go the way you think. If it was, it would be easy. But shit's going to happen. So be ready for it to be strong and flexible and be able to move through the shit, right? And it could be failure, rejection, could be no, could be uh, something that you had no control over. Like, say you're building and you've got some restrictions that didn't get covered, or codes, things like that. So whatever it is, you got to be ready for it, and then just keep your eye on the goal. Keep your eye on the goal, and like I always tell people, be specific and be obsessed with what you're doing, so you get there quicker. See, when you're obsessed, I'll give you an example. I've got two financial institutions that I work with, and one of them, I have two students that I mentor.
Man.
One started 6 months after the other person. The one person I brought her up to $1 million a year. The other gentleman will do 3 million, and he started 6 months after her. What's the reason? Same company, same products, same everything, except themselves. But one woman she's amazing. She's a beast. But the other guy is obsessed. And if you obsess on what you want, as long as it's a good vehicle, you're going to make it.
Wow. Yeah. So that's a great point. So let me ask you something. What makes someone, so obsessed? What type of skills do you need to have or you need to develop as a business owner to make it or be able to get from zero to wealth?
Well, you got to, number one, learn how to create strategic plans to get there, right? Because most people don't do that. They just run. They run without having a business plan. Got to have a business plan, and you got to follow it. Number two, you need to learn communication skills. People that are successful in business, all the men and women that I know are successful, whether they're CEOs, presidents, the CFO doesn't need to be, because they're mostly counting stuff. But presidents, CEOs are salespeople. They're closers. So you need to master, like I have programs called investigative selling, right? And the next thing is, when you get busy, you got to have systems.
Yeah.
You got to have systems. And that means part of that system means, time and territorial management comes on what business you have. So that's what I would recommend for people, to really do that. And it works.
Awesome. Okay, man.
Love it.
You know what? And I love it. This is amazing. I mean, every week we talk about one of your books and how to create wealth and how to become rich and how to actually just create financial freedom. Because at the end of the day, that's what we all want. This is the country in which everything is you are able to do this, and this is why a lot of people migrate into the United States. But hey, Omar, I appreciate your time today. Thank you for being here with us today. Thank you for actually keep doing this, because I know this is giving a lot of value to many people. And guys, and if you guys want to work with Omar Periu, don't forget, go to Omar Periu International. You can email you, right? They can email you.
That's omarperiu.com or omarperiu@gmail.com. That's OMARPERIU@gmail.com or .com.
Yeah. Something that I got to tell you and about Omar, that he's very reachable. I mean, he is the first one that will actually welcome you into his team, and you'll have a direct line to him. So if you're trying to work with him, this is a person that is actually will be able to take you to where you want to go. Thank you for today. Hey, Brock, appreciate it. You're the man.
Thank you, Brock. Thank you, Carlos. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you. So
thanks everybody for listening.
Awesome. And thank you. To the next week, okay? See you soon.
All right. Thanks, guys.